If you're over 60 and you've ever felt bloated after a meal, sluggish for no reason, or noticed that your blood pressure and cholesterol numbers just keep creeping higher no matter what you do, this message could change the course of your health. And I want you to hear me fully when I say this. There are 4 meats, yes, just 4, that may be doing more damage to your aging body than anything else on your plate. Meats that millions of Americans eat every single week without question. Meats that are hiding in sandwiches, stews, salads, and Sunday dinners. And yet, they've been strongly linked to some of the most dangerous health outcomes seniors face today. Heart disease, cancer, dementia, even mobility loss. And the worst part? Most people think they're completely normal. So, let's start here. Have you ever had one of those moments where you sit down after a long day and something just doesn't feel right? Maybe it's your knees that ache more than usual. Maybe it's your digestion, slower, heavier, less comfortable than it used to be. Or maybe it's this fog in your brain that just won't lift. You're eating like you always have, maybe even better, but something in your body is off. That's not your imagination. That's not just aging. That's your body sending you a message. And it may be trying to tell you that the foods you used to get away with are now working against you. You see, once we cross the age of 60, our biology shifts dramatically. Our metabolism slows, our organs become more sensitive to toxins, hormones, and inflammatory compounds. Our gut doesn't process saturated fats and preservatives the way it did when we were 30 or 40. And our immune system, it starts to behave differently too, often becoming more reactive, more easily triggered by certain compounds in food that were once harmless. This is why the dietary habits that felt normal a decade ago can quietly start causing real damage now, especially when it comes to meat. Now don't get me wrong, meat itself isn't the enemy. In fact, high-quality protein is essential for seniors. It supports muscle maintenance, hormone production, immune health, and even mental clarity. But the kind of meat you choose, that's everything. Because not all meat is created equal, and some of the most common meats in the modern diet, meats that are affordable, convenient, and even marketed as healthy, are chemically processed, loaded with inflammatory compounds, and wreak havoc on your body from the inside out. Let me tell you what that looks like. Inflammation, first and foremost. Certain meats flood your bloodstream with compounds like advanced glycation end products, nitrates, and oxidized cholesterol, all of which spike inflammation. And here's the thing. Most people don't realize chronic inflammation isn't just about swollen joints or irritated skin. It's at the root of nearly every age-related disease. Heart disease, inflammation, Alzheimer's, inflammation, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, cancer. Nearly all of them are fed by the same internal fire. And when you're eating meat that fans that fire every single day, even if it's a small amount, the long-term impact adds up faster than you think. Let's go deeper. Your blood vessels, the highways that carry oxygen, nutrients, and energy throughout your body, depend on something called nitric oxide to stay relaxed and open. But when certain meat-derived chemicals enter your system, that nitric oxide production drops, your vessels stiffen, your blood pressure rises, your heart has to work harder. Over time, this puts enormous strain on your cardiovascular system, and when that strain becomes chronic, that's when we see strokes, heart attacks, sudden fatigue that you can't shake, cold hands and feet because circulation is compromised. And here's the part that hits hardest. Many people don't connect these symptoms back to food. They think it's aging, genetics, stress. But the truth? For many, it's meat. And I know what you might be thinking. I don't eat that much meat. I'm careful. I avoid fast food. That's good. But the meats we're talking about today aren't just found in obvious places. They're in deli counters, pre-cooked meals, healthy frozen entrees, restaurant dishes labeled as lean. Some are even sold as Heart Smart or lightly processed. But when you read the fine print, the truth comes out. So let's start uncovering that truth. In just a moment, I'm going to walk you through the 4 meats that are most dangerous for seniors, and why. Not just what they are, but what they do inside your body. And more importantly, what to replace them with, because it's not enough to cut something out. You need to know what to bring in. The goal here isn't restriction, it's transformation, empowerment, helping your body feel light again, strong again, pain-free. Because food isn't just fuel, it's communication. It tells your cells what to do. And when you eat the right foods, your body starts remembering how to heal. But first, I want to ground this in something real. A man named Harold, 67 years old, retired school teacher, came to one of our workshops last year. He was sharp, funny, and deeply frustrated. His blood pressure was high despite medication. His knees hurt every morning. His doctor had just warned him about early signs of kidney strain. He said to me, "I don't get it. I walk every day. I eat grilled meats, low-fat everything. I barely touch sweets." And he was telling the truth. But when we looked at his food journal, it was full of deli turkey, ham, canned chili, and microwavable meatloaf meals, all marketed as healthy, all loaded with sodium nitrate, oxidized fats, and inflammatory preservatives. We made one change, just one. We swapped out those meats for anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense options. Within 3 weeks, his blood pressure dropped, his pain cut in half. 2 months later, he dropped one of his medications, with his doctor's full approval. That's what happens when we stop guessing and start aligning with how the body actually works. And that's what we're going to do together in this video. So let's dive in. Let's talk about what's really going on with these 4 meats. I'll break down the science in plain English. I'll share the latest studies, real peer-reviewed research. I'll show you the warning signs to look for in your own life. And by the end of this video, you'll not only know what to avoid, you'll feel confident in what to choose. That's how change begins. Not with fear, but with understanding. Now remember, this isn't about perfection. You don't need to go vegan. You don't need to throw out everything in your kitchen today. What you need is clarity. And that's what Health 360 Pro is here to give you. Clear, actionable, senior-focused health education rooted in truth. We're not here to scare you. We're here to set you free. Because aging should not feel like a slow decline. It should feel like a powerful, supported transformation into your strongest, most intentional self. So take a breath. Settle in. Part 2 is coming next, and that's where we start naming names. That's where we talk about the first meat on the list, why it's so common, so misleading, and so dangerous for the senior body. And we'll go from there, building one insight at a time. By the end, you'll have a new lens to see your meals through, one that's backed by science, rooted in respect for your body, and crafted to help you live and walk strong for years to come. Are you ready? Let's keep going. Let's keep moving, because this is where things start to shift. In part 1, we laid the foundation. You now understand how even small amounts of the wrong meats can trigger chronic inflammation, slow your circulation, raise blood pressure, and throw your entire system out of balance, especially after 60. And you're starting to realize this isn't about fear. It's about clarity. It's about knowing which foods truly nourish you and which ones are silently robbing you of energy, comfort, and longevity. So now, let's name names. The first meat we need to talk about, maybe the most dangerous on the list, is processed deli meat. Ham, turkey breast, bologna, salami, roast beef in neat little slices. These meats seem harmless. Many are labeled lean or low fat. But the real problem is what you don't see on the label at first glance. Sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite. These are chemical preservatives added to keep the color pink, prevent spoilage, and give that classic flavor. But once inside your body, they do something far more sinister. Here's what the science says. Nitrates can convert into compounds called nitrosamines. These are carcinogenic, meaning cancer-causing. In fact, the World Health Organization classified processed meats as Group 1 carcinogens, placing them in the same risk category as smoking. That's not exaggeration. That's decades of peer-reviewed research. But it doesn't stop there. These meats are also extremely high in sodium and preservatives that cause water retention, strain kidney function, and damage the delicate inner lining of your arteries, something called the endothelium. When that lining becomes inflamed, it kicks off a cascade that affects your entire body. Blood pressure rises, insulin resistance grows, blood vessels constrict, and circulation suffers. That's when you start to feel it. That heavy-legged fatigue, that constant thirst, that unexplained stiffness in your joints. And you think, this must be age, but it's not. It's chemistry. It's biology responding to years of exposure to compounds your body was never designed to process, at least not in large doses, and certainly not daily. So what's the fix? It's simple. Shift away from deli meats and toward freshly cooked, minimally processed options. If you want sliced turkey, roast a fresh turkey breast at home and slice it yourself. If you love a sandwich, use grilled chicken or egg salad made from whole ingredients. If you crave savory flavor, add herbs, rosemary, garlic, turmeric, not artificial chemicals. And if you want convenience, prep ahead. Batch cook on Sunday, and you've got clean, supportive protein all week. Now, the second meat. This one hits home for a lot of people. Bacon, I know. For many, it's a weekend tradition, a comfort food, a taste of childhood. But let's look at what it's doing inside your body, especially after 60. Bacon is a triple threat. It's high in saturated fat, high in sodium, and high in nitrites. This combination is brutal for seniors. Saturated fat in excess raises LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, which clogs arteries and restricts blood flow. Sodium increases blood pressure, which puts pressure on the heart and kidneys. And the nitrites? Again, they convert to nitrosamines, pushing up cancer risk and oxidative stress. One study published in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology found that even modest consumption of bacon and similar meats was associated with a significant increase in arterial plaque, particularly in adults over 65. Why? Because your body doesn't recover the same way it did at 30. Damage takes longer to heal, inflammation takes longer to resolve, and the margin for error shrinks. Now, does that mean you can never have bacon again? No. But it means you need to understand the cost. If you eat bacon daily, even in small amounts, you are putting consistent strain on your cardiovascular and metabolic systems. That's not just numbers on a lab test. That's your energy, your memory, your ability to climb stairs, go for walks, stay active and independent. So make the choice consciously. If you crave that flavor and texture, try alternatives. Turkey bacon made without nitrates, tempeh bacon, smoked mushrooms. These aren't compromises, they're upgrades. You're not giving something up. You're reclaiming something, your strength, your clarity, your comfort. And here's what's beautiful. Your body responds quickly. Within days of cutting out inflammatory meats, inflammation markers drop. Blood pressure begins to lower. Circulation improves. Joints loosen. Digestion becomes smoother. Sleep deepens. You don't just feel not bad, you feel alive again. Let's talk about the third meat on the list, canned meats. Think Spam, canned corned beef, Vienna sausages. These are often staples for convenience, especially for those on a budget or living alone. But they're some of the most heavily processed meats available. These products are loaded with preservatives, stabilizers, binders, and often hidden sugars and MSG, ingredients that not only spike inflammation, but interfere with hormone regulation and neurological function. And here's what most people don't realize. These meats are often made from lower quality cuts that contain more oxidized fats, fats that have gone rancid during processing. Oxidized fats create a massive free radical burden inside the body. That means more damage to your cells, your DNA, and your immune system. Multiple studies have linked high intake of canned meats to increased risk of colorectal cancer, kidney disease, and even cognitive decline. And again, it's not about one bite, it's about daily habits. If this is in your pantry or on your plate regularly, it matters. Now, I know the counter argument. It's cheap, it lasts, it's easy. I hear that, but so is chronic illness, so is losing mobility, so is relying on medications just to function. That's not ease, that's survival. And you deserve more than survival. You deserve vitality. Swap canned meats for fresh ones. If convenience is key, look for vacuum-sealed cooked chicken breast with minimal ingredients. Use canned beans instead of meat for protein in soups and stews. Roast a whole chicken and portion it out. These small changes build momentum, and over time, they build resilience. And finally, let's touch on the fourth meat. And it might surprise you. Charred red meat. Steaks grilled to well done, burgers cooked until black, BBQ that's burnt at the edges. We think of these as indulgent, flavorful, satisfying. But here's what the research shows. When meat is cooked at high temperatures, especially over open flame, it forms compounds called HCAs and PAHs, heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These are toxic, and they've been directly linked to increased cancer risk, particularly in the colon, prostate, and pancreas. Older adults are more vulnerable because our detox pathways slow down. The enzymes that once cleared toxins efficiently begin to decline. And if your liver is already taxed by medications, alcohol, sugar, or past diet, these compounds can accumulate faster than your body can eliminate them. So what can you do? You don't have to give up grilling. Just modify how you do it. Use lower heat. Marinate meats in herbs, vinegar, lemon juice. Studies show this dramatically reduces HCA formation. Flip meats frequently. Trim excess fat to reduce flare-ups. Better yet, choose leaner proteins like fish or chicken over fatty cuts of beef. And above all, limit the frequency. Make it a treat, not a habit. By now, you're starting to see a pattern. It's not about meat itself. It's about the quality, the preparation, and the frequency. Your body isn't fragile, but it is asking for care, respect, partnership. And when you give it that, it shows up for you in how you move, how you think, how you feel. We're almost there. In the final part, we're going to take everything we've uncovered, this entire roadmap, and show you exactly how to build a meat-conscious, inflammation-reducing lifestyle. We'll talk alternatives, grocery strategies, meal ideas, and how to talk to your doctor if you're ready to make a bigger shift. But for now, I want you to pause and feel something, the power of awareness. You've made it this far. You've looked behind the curtain, and once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. That's a gift, one that will serve you for the rest of your life. Let's keep going. You've made it this far, and that tells me something powerful. You're not just here to listen, you're here to change. And not because someone told you to, but because deep down, something clicked. Maybe it was the realization that your food choices are shaping how you move, think, and feel every single day. Maybe it was the memory of a doctor's visit, a blood test, a family history you've been quietly carrying for years. Or maybe it was just that inner voice saying, I'm ready to feel better. And now, you know what's been getting in the way. You know that deli meats, bacon, canned meats, and charred red meat aren't just food. They're information. Every bite tells your body something. And if those bites are laced with nitrates, sodium, oxidized fats, and inflammatory compounds, the message they send is one of stress, damage, and decline. But here's the most important part. That message is reversible. Your body is not fixed in a state of decay. It is capable right now of healing, of restoring balance, of building strength. And the tools to make that happen, they're already in your kitchen or just a shopping trip away. So let's bring this all home. What do you eat instead? What does a plate look like that honors your age, your biology, and your goals? Start here. Clean proteins, foods that nourish instead of inflame. Think roasted wild salmon, rich in omega-3 fatty acids that reduce joint pain and lower blood pressure. Think pasture-raised chicken, cooked gently in olive oil and herbs. Think lentils and chickpeas, which support heart health and stabilize blood sugar. Think grass-fed beef, once in a while, slow-cooked, not charred, not burned. These aren't just healthier choices, they're strategic ones, because every nutrient they bring to the table, zinc, B12, selenium, omega-3s, magnesium, is exactly what your body craves more of in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. And don't underestimate the power of preparation. It's not just what you eat, it's how you cook it. Trade the frying pan for a slow cooker. Let flavors develop over time. Marinate your proteins in lemon, vinegar, garlic, turmeric, rosemary. These aren't just tasty. They reduce the formation of harmful compounds during cooking. And while we're here, let me say this. Seasoning is your friend. Spices like ginger, cinnamon, cumin, and black pepper don't just make food delicious. They fight inflammation, support digestion, and balance your blood sugar. Nature gives us flavor and medicine in the same package. We just have to use it. Now maybe you're wondering, what about cravings? That's real. These meats, especially bacon and deli meats, are engineered to be addictive. They hit your taste buds hard, spike dopamine, and create a pattern. But cravings fade fast once your body is rebalanced. Once you start fueling your cells instead of fighting them, those urges quiet down. And what rises in their place? A steadier energy, clearer thoughts, lighter digestion, joints that don't ache when you roll out of bed. That's not hype. That's your body saying thank you. Let me tell you about Gloria. She's 74, lives alone, and used to rely on microwavable meals and sandwiches from the local deli. Her knees hurt, her sleep was broken. She told me she hadn't walked more than a block in years. We made one change, swapped the processed meats for roasted veggies, legumes, and fish. Within a month, she called me in tears. Not because of pain, but because of what she felt waking up. Energy, lightness. The first real sleep she'd had in years. I thought this was just aging, she said. Turns out, it was just lunch. This is why I do this, because food isn't about discipline. It's about freedom, the freedom to move, to play with grandkids, to garden, travel, volunteer, live life on your own terms. The kind of life you deserve, but that starts with one plate, one choice at a time. And yes, change takes effort. But here's the truth. Effort doesn't have to mean hardship. It means presence. It means asking, before each meal, is this feeding my inflammation or my healing? It means learning how to read a label, looking for words like nitrate-free, pasture-raised, minimally processed. It means making a shopping list not from fear, but from love. Love for your future, love for your body, love for the moments you still want to fully enjoy. And if you're someone who's been relying on meats for protein, don't worry. There are dozens of delicious, nourishing options. Eggs, Greek yogurt, tofu, lentils, hummus, quinoa, chia seeds, almonds, sardines, cottage cheese. Each one brings something powerful to the table, whether it's calcium for your bones, fiber for your gut, or healthy fats for your brain. And here's what I love. When you start eating this way, you're not just reducing disease risk, you're building a new identity. A version of yourself that eats with awareness, that wakes up energized, that moves with confidence, that lives in a body that feels like home again. But I know this might be new for some of you. Maybe you've been eating these meats for decades. Maybe your fridge is full of them right now. That's okay. This isn't about guilt. This isn't about shame. This is about honesty. It's about seeing clearly. Because once you know better, you can do better. And not out of punishment, but out of respect. You've lived long enough to deserve food that supports you, not food that slowly breaks you down. So what happens next? You make one change, just one. Maybe this week, you swap the deli meat sandwich for a tuna and avocado wrap. Maybe next week, you try roasting a whole chicken instead of buying processed slices. Maybe the week after, you explore a new recipe, lentil soup, veggie stir-fry, salmon patties. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be consistent. Progress, not pressure. And if you need help, that's what we're here for. Health 360 Pro isn't about rules, it's about support. Tools, education, encouragement. The truth is, the health world is noisy. And most of it isn't made for you, for seniors who've lived real lives, with real habits and real challenges. But this channel is. And every video we make is designed to meet you where you are, speak to your stage of life, and remind you that it's never too late to feel better. So let's summarize not with a list, but with a mindset. Your food is your foundation. What you put in your body creates the blueprint for how you age. And that blueprint is still flexible, still moldable, still full of possibility. So whether you're 60, 70, or 80 plus, your choices matter. You matter. And if this video resonated, if something in your body or your heart said, yes, this makes sense, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your spouse, with a friend, with someone who's been quietly struggling and doesn't know why they feel so off. This could be the message that turns their path around. And if you haven't already, subscribe, not just for the videos, but for the mission. Because we're building a movement here, one senior at a time, one habit at a time. And if you've been feeling unseen in your health journey, let me say this clearly. We see you. We're with you. And your best years aren't behind you. They're ahead. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring about your body. Thank you for showing up, not just for answers, but for truth. You've taken in a lot today. And now, it's time to act on it. So take a deep breath, go open that fridge, and take the first step. Not toward less food, but toward better food. Food that honors the strength you've earned, the wisdom you've gathered, and the vibrant life that still lies ahead. You've got this. Let's keep moving forward, together.